All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I am your host, Elijah Rodriguez, and we are back today again with another episode this beautiful Tuesday morning. So we got some crazy, as a Yankee fan, some news that I think we knew was coming. We've known this was coming at I think like last week I knew it was going to be like any moment, any minute. Gerrit Cole will be making his debut tomorrow against the Orioles, who are 1.5 games back behind the Yankees. So not a more clutch spot for him to make his return. But before we get to that, because that was going to be the main point of commentary talk today, whatever you want to call it, we have some injury updates. I didn't quite know there was this many injuries. These are kind of the bigger ones. And I know I talked about a lot yesterday because this past weekend was brutal in terms of injuries between Yamamoto, Betts. I mean, the Dodgers got hit hard. A couple other teams got hit a little bit hard as well. Yankees included, Diamondbacks included, though those other injuries don't seem as detrimental as the Dodgers were. But let's talk about it. So, like I said yesterday, we'll start with the Dodgers and those kind of guys. Betts got hit in the hand on Sunday and has a fractured bone in his left hand. He won't need surgery, but he's going to be 8 weeks. I know yesterday I said I didn't know how long it was going to be. They just said extensive time. 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I still think that's fast for a broken bone in your hand, but especially on your finishing hand as a righty. So it's going to be tough for Betts. Yamamoto's put on the 15-day IL for tricep tightness, but he has a strained rotator cuff. So 15 days for him. I think that might extend a little further. Michael Grove was also on the 15-day IL for an intercostal strain. He's a lower one. I didn't know that I guess I kind of forgot Bobby Miller, who had shoulder inflammation, has been out for a while. He's making some rehab starts. So, he made his 4th rehab start on last Thursday in Oklahoma City, allowing 5 runs over 4 2/3. So that's not very good. Into the Yankees, we got obviously Gerrit Cole, which we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, will be making his debut. Rizzo was one that I talked about yesterday. It looks like he's got 4 to 6 weeks with an arm fracture. Doesn't need surgery, but I did hear this yesterday. Yankees haven't technically confirmed that, but it's been pretty much everywhere at this point, so it's hard not to believe it at this point. But yeah, 4 to 6 weeks for that. 4 to 6 weeks for Rizzo. Considering how he's been performing, I don't know if this is a major blow to the lineup at this moment. Had Rizzo been hot, had Rizzo been a little bit more electric at the plate, had a little bit more defensive prowess, I guess. May have been a little bit more of a blow. I'm not quite sure that I mean, obviously, as a human, I'm like, damn, dude, you fucking broke your arm. You need 4 to 6 weeks out. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's just roll LeMahieu in there and kind of put somebody else at third, and we'll be all right. I think that honestly, that's the best deal for them. And then Jason Dominguez, one of the biggest prospects for the Yankees right now, kind of awaiting his time to come back up to the big leagues. I think he was out with Tommy John for a while now, but he had a tweak in his oblique yesterday or the day before. They pulled him out of that game, so he's out again. Guy can't seem to catch a break. Corbin Carroll, another guy who I was a little worried about, kind of tweaked something on a throw to first on Saturday or Sunday. Don't remember the day specifically. Took an MRI yesterday, so he didn't have any issues. Feeling a little bit better, so he's going to be back today against the Nationals. So those are kind of the big ones I talked about yesterday. Obviously, they're still talking about the Rangers who are missing DeGrom, Scherzer, Young, and Spores. Bichette was out of the starting lineup on Monday for a calf soreness. So he's got to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Obviously, William Contreras was cleared from concussion protocol. I guess he got hit. Oh, that's right, on that slide play at home. So he's out, but he's good. He'll be back, but he won't be in the lineup. Trey Turner that was another one I want to talk about. Trey Turner made his debut, or not his debut, but came back after missing the last month and a half or so of ball, and came out with 2 hits. So still betting 345 on the year. Not bad, Mr. Trey Turner. I did hear, though, that there was rumblings, and I'm not quite sure I'm going to respond to a comment because I saw some different people talking about maybe Trey Turner coming back to the Dodgers with this injury. I don't know if I really see it happening, but that would be kind of sick, low key, if they went after him. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. They're not going to go back after him. They let him go in the first place. All right, we got other guys. Michael Wacha, foot fracture. Justin Verlander Kyle Tucker, who blew his leg off with a foul ball the other day, still has not returned, even though he was eligible to be on Friday. Said he could be in the mix in a couple days, but still nothing. McCullers. Why are we still talking about Lance McCullers? Where has this guy been? McCullers, 30 pitch bullpen session working on fastball changeups, working on everything. When you're just throwing like forearm injury, dude. Why have the Astros were quick to let go of Abreu, but have been paying McCullers for 20 innings a year for the last 4 or 5 years now? I literally don't know what their obsession is with Lance McCullers. Like, let the fucker go, man. At this point, like, he has yet to give you anything more than like a quarter of a year. I mean, this is outrageous. Tucker should be coming back, hopefully. And then Verlander, who was scratched on Saturday to neck tightness, he's going to return this week against Chicago or the White Sox. So we'll see about that one. Snell's still hurt, left groin strain, threw a bullpen on Saturday. Scheduled to throw another one today. Interesting enough, some of these other guys. Tristan Casas with a whack-ass interview the other day. I'm not even going to talk about that. Yeah, guys. And then obviously we're not going to talk about these other guys. So enough of the injury talk, right? So now let's talk about the elephant in the room, what everyone's talking about, what everyone's thinking about as it's happening tomorrow. I'm going to be tuning in. I'm sure everybody else will be, at least, or not everybody, but a good chunk of people who are Yankee fans, who are just Gerrit Cole fans, are going to be tuning in because this is the moment we've been waiting for. Obviously, kind of going down the timeline, Cole comes into spring training, does some bullpen stuff. If you're not familiar with what happened, I'll kind of recap a little bit. Comes into spring training, throws a couple bullpens. I noted that after the first couple bullpens he threw coming into spring training that there was rumblings that he didn't feel 100%. And that's kind of where all the injury speculation came from. And then the dreaded one that everyone I lost my mind. A lot of people lost their mind when they heard elbow. And anytime you hear elbow injury from a pitcher or any elbow discomfort, especially in this day and age, anytime, and this is kind of how it's been for a long time. I remember when I was playing and I had any sort of pain in my elbow, I felt like I had the plague. Like I was like, I'm gonna die. This is it. I'm over. I'm gonna have to sit for a year because it's a sucky thing to have to sit for an entire year. Tommy John surgery is tough physically. It's a tough process, but it's also tough mentally for guys that are still playing because you can't play. You don't know if you're gonna make it back. You don't know who you're gonna be when you come back from Tommy John. So it's a lot more to take in than just repair my UCL. Let me take time to throw and come back. It's a full encompassing process mentally, physically, everything. So it's hard to go back and come back through something like that. So I applaud any pitcher who comes back from Tommy John. Some of these guys who come back in record time. It's impressive, man, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take. But at the same time, so Cole goes into the spring training season or the spring season. Spring training? Why am I talking so weird? Spring training. Throws a couple bullpens. Like, I'm not feeling hot. I'm going to go get this thing checked out. This was all before the year even started. So he ends up going to New York, getting a bunch of x-rays. They all confirm negative, so there's no tears in the UCL. Just some serious, I guess, elbow inflammation, some serious injuries with the elbow. So they caught it. He stopped throwing right before it could become something serious, which is clutch as fuck, because I'm sure if he kept trying to work through it or he thought it was just some elbow soreness, didn't say anything. But Gerrit Cole doesn't seem the type. Like, the good thing about a lot of these guys, most of them veterans, guys who have been in the league for a long time, have been playing for a long time, not saying that the young guys don't have this, but a lot of these older guys, Cole, like Bieber, all these guys, obviously Bieber went down with Tommy John, but like a lot of these guys know their body. And they know when something doesn't feel right. They know when to push. They know when, like, this is soreness. This doesn't feel like this is sharp. And a lot of times, all honesty, guys, like working in, when I was in college, working with pitchers and athletes, and I did my internship at a sports performance gym. It was really kind of like a big ass gym, but a lot of athletes worked out there. Knowing the difference between pain and soreness is something that you almost have to teach, because a lot of guys don't know. They think, oh, this hurts, but like I'm still performing, I'm still doing okay, so I'm going to push it further. A lot of guys don't know that, so it's a key point that a lot of like veterans know when to push it, when to not push it. Like this could turn into an injury. This is just soreness. I'll work through it. It'll be okay. To the difference of like, this fucking hurts, and I don't want to. I need to get this checked, right? So he knew something was wrong. Didn't push it. Smart on him. Goes and gets a bunch of x-rays. They went to New York and everything came back okay. They were like, you know what? I think we may just come back too fast. We're just going to shut you down completely for a good chunk of time. And you're going to basically, it almost felt like he was restarting his offseason program from the beginning, from, throwing, 30, 40, 50 feet to then, flat ground. So that he started the whole thing over again. which I mean, not going to do you any harm, but it obviously set back the season, right? And everyone was upset because, especially Yankee fans, going into this year, because we got Soto, we had Judge coming back, we had a good team. We got rid of Rendivort. We had two solid catchers in Wells and Trevino. We had a solid backstop. Volpe Gold Glove last year, expecting big things out of him. Oswaldo Cabrera, another guy that really came out of nowhere and shined. And then obviously, we got Verdugo. So it was an exciting offseason for Yankee fans who thought, last year, 2023, which was fucking brutal, not a season I ever want to remember. We come into 2024 and they're locked, loaded, ready to go. We had Gerrit Cole, who came off a great year last year. I'm expecting him to do the same thing this year with an even more stacked lineup, with a more stacked bullpen and rotation. Like this was going to be a big year. Then we get this blow that Gerrit Cole's going to miss at least 2 months because he's going to go through this elbow inflammation treatment, all this stuff. And we kind of just bided our time. And then as the season kind of kicked on, and we were like, okay, well, maybe we're doing all this pretty good without Cole. Could you imagine with? And now here we are. We're definitely down the line. We've waited our time. He's bided his time. He's been patient. He's been playing. He's been doing his rehab. Everything you could have asked out of a player. He's been active. He's been in the games. He's been there. He's been everywhere. So it's good to see. It's fun to see. It's good for baseball, right? So he started throwing some rehab starts. All of them were pretty solid. I didn't see anything bad, anything that we should have been worried about. Anything was pretty solid. So he missed more than 2 months with elbow inflammation, and he's back in the Yankees rotation. He made three rehab starts in the minor leagues. In his last outing, which was in AAA Scranton Wilkes Barre, he threw 70 pitches. So that's pretty extensive. I mean, I think him throwing tomorrow, he will be. I'd say he's probably around 70 to 80. I don't think he goes above 90. No shot. Not in the first one back. But yeah, listen to this. So he pitched last outing, 70 pitches, 4 1/3, struck out 10 guys. Yeah, Cole is. I think he's ready. Over 12 1/3 over all his rehab starts, 12 1/3 in the minors. He struck out 19 and gave up only 1 run. So I think he's ready. I think he's ready. So interesting enough, he goes out, tears up AAA. Obviously, it's Gerrit Cole. I always think it's funny when you get these aces like Verlander, or like when like Walker Buehler is going through the minors. Like, you're just gonna rip people up. Like Snell throwing an immaculate inning. Like, come on, man. Like some of these guys, and it shows really truly like what I tell people all the time. The difference between the big leagues and the minor leagues is sometimes insurmountable. You can't even, it's immeasurable. You can't put the two together or even think what you're going to experience in the big leagues versus what you're experiencing in AAA. The AAA to big league jump is massive. It's huge. So like you got guys who are facing AAA batters now facing Gerrit Cole, one of the best in the big leagues. There's going to be a pretty big talent gap there. And now obviously this shows 19 hitters in 12 innings is pretty insane. But as we were talking about pitching in the Yankees, obviously, I hate. I sounds like a dick move saying this, but the Yankees they're not in desperate need of Gerrit Cole, which is why they've given him so much time. I think it's a different story if the Yankees are hurting for pitching. I think it's a different story if there's injuries to the pitching rotation and they need Gerrit Cole. I think Gerrit Cole, if the Yankees were in need of pitching like desperately, I think Gerrit Cole was back like 3 weeks ago. I think they rushed him a little bit, but they didn't have to. And that was a beautiful thing that they were able to say, you know what? Take your time, come back on your own time, relax, get the arm truly ready to take on this season. Just relax, take your time. We're taking care of it just fine. And taking care of it, they have at a 2.90 ERA, the lowest in baseball as a whole. You got Luis Gil who came out. Even guys who like you wouldn't have thought, like a couple weeks ago, freaking Poteet holding the Dodgers to, like, I think it was a nothing. He held him scoreless for like 4 or 5 innings. Like, that's impressive for a guy to just come spot start. Clark Schmidt, Stroman's been a little bit shaky. Was shaky this past weekend. Nestor been a little bit shaky, but Rodon's come into his own. Been pitching a lot better than he did last year. I still don't think that we're seeing the Rodon we saw from 2022, but we're seeing a very much improved Carlos Rodon, which is great. And then Luis Gil, obviously, who came in to be Cole's replacement at the beginning of the year. We didn't know what to expect. Didn't have a whole lot of true stats. And he just came through and just is absolutely making a fucking name for himself, Luis Gil, man. God bless me, man, because that dude is tearing it up. Yeah, he's now on par to be a Cy Young candidate. So and probably is a surefire all-star. Come on, all-star for sure. But yeah, so let's see. So I'm looking at the Athletic here. The Athletic, I love the Athletic. That's like my number one. I love the New York Times, as biased as you may think me to be. But so it looks like with Cole returning, like I said, before I even read this, I said he was 80 to 90 pitches, 70 to 90 pitches. They're thinking 80 to 85. I think that's a good number. But Poteet is probably going to get optioned, which sucks. Because dude, holding the fucking Dodgers scoreless in any outing is impressive. And he did that on Sunday Night fucking Baseball a couple weeks ago. Impressive. So I think that he's not going to stay low for long. Obviously, Clark Schmidt's down with a lat injury, which is who technically Poteet came to relieve. Yeah, because Gil replaced Cole. Yeah, Gil replaces Cole, and then Poteet replaced Schmidt. So, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So, sucks, man. He's probably going to get optioned, obviously, to make room for Cole to come back. They're not going to put Gil down or anybody else. They need that bullpen in case. So, the only logical explanation here, the only logical option is to put down Poteet. I think if anything happens, he's going to make a great pitcher wherever if it's for the Yankees, if it's wherever. Poteet showed me a lot. I was pretty impressed. But yeah, so like I said, that was kind of the big news today, guys. Obviously, Gerrit Cole coming back. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch him pitch tomorrow. So be sure to check that out. And like I said, there's no better time for him to come back. Everyone's been talking about this big series between the Orioles and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. They're coming in only 1.5 games back. So really, truly 3 games back. And they have the second best record in baseball. And like I've said it a million times at this point, a team that continues to just impress me. Playing the way that they're playing with a bunch of young dudes is hella impressive. But we're going to see what it looks like. We're going to see what this rotation looks like, what the Yankees look like with their ace, with Gerrit Cole tomorrow. I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. I will pay money. I will find a place to watch this game because this is going to be one that I've been waiting for. Obviously, Yankee fans all over, a lot of people, just baseball fans, have been waiting to see Gerrit Cole pitch, especially after his performance last year. So it's going to be a great series, and obviously a great game to watch. It's the freaking Orioles. You can't ask for more, right? But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out. I don't know where the game's going to be held. If you're interested in knowing where that is, just check MLB Network or check MLB Network or MLB the app, wherever. I got to figure it out myself. I don't know yet. But like I said, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us, like us, subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts. And then, of course, on socials, man, hit us up. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us follow me on Twitter. Follow Instagram, man. We got a lot of short form content, a lot of short videos, kind of more baseball news that I can kind of get out to you guys via socials. It's easier, so be sure to check that out. But like I said, guys, thanks for listening. I'm having a blast doing this. As always, it's so much fun talking about baseball with you guys. So thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys in the next one.